Hi guys, I'm here and I'm going to talk to you about moral relativism, moral objectivism, and some pacifism. Okay, so my friend and I have been arguing about the same topic for months. You see, my friend is a pacifist, and he believes that any action of violence is bad. And we've been debating back and forth, and he's convinced me of a lot of really good points, but I'm still not sure what I believe. That's what I'm going to talk about. When my friend and I were arguing, it became obvious that the ideas that we were talking about, pacifism, violence, morality, and justice, that sometimes we didn't have the same definitions. So, here's an example of one of his arguments. All violent acts are immoral. There are more ways to settle conflicts non-violently, and those should be used instead. Even when violence is used against you, you should seek to settle a conflict without violence, because that results in a lower amount of violence overall. Because, you will not be harming anyone, and also they won't be motivated to harm you because of retaliation or revenge. So yeah, less violence is good. And that's pretty obvious. You see, though, my friend has no problem believing in this objective morality, that in every situation, the reduction of violence or acting in a nonviolent way would be good. For him, the rules are concrete. If any violent action is morally wrong, this utilitarian framework, with the ultimate goal as a reduction of violence, pacifism can be the only moral stance. But I still wasn't convinced, and when that happens, I want to know why. When I come across an ethical question where the answer isn't clear, I feel like I have to keep asking until I know that answer. I think that a complete worldview, something that would encompass all of these real-world scenarios and all of these hypothetical scenarios, they would have to have clear rules that could be named and understood and applied. So first I needed to pin down a real definition of morality. Morality is a system of rules and obligations about human behavior and interactions, but I needed a concrete definition. Can morality be objective? That is, can it be measured and agreed upon by everyone? Moral objectivists like my friend think that this is true, that moral claims about the rights and obligations about humans can be absolutely true, as he said in his argument. The fundamental moral maxims apply universally. All times you should be nonviolent, and reasonable and rational people can all agree on their truth. So I took a look at a premise for a nonviolent moral objectivist argument. That 1, all societies share certain values necessary for any society to function. 2, objectivism appeals to reason over feeling and offers a better chance for humanity to solve its many problems. 3, the purpose of ethics is to provide guidance, and humanity needs guidance for world affairs and not just within any particular society. And 4, nations and societies must cooperate, and this requires agreement on core values. And I find this argument really compelling. It makes sense that people and societies would evolve in ways that support and spread functioning values. It also makes sense that any moral maxim or rule would not be contradictory to humanity's survival and progress, otherwise it would be impossible to obey. But I want to test this theory against objectivity. In order to be objective, in order for my friend's argument to be true, that all of the time nonviolent actions should be used because any action of violence is wrong, this must be the same from any perspective. And moral relativists argue that if morality were objective, then every member of our species would share the same values. But they don't. As evidenced by vast disagreements on moral issues like the death penalty, abortion, killing animals, moral objectivists would argue that these disagreements arise from different cultures and beliefs, inculcating their children, or that the moral maxim in question must not be fundamental enough in order for humans to have such different perspectives. In other words, all humans have the capacity for this moral code, but sometimes our culture will override that. And remember how I said earlier that moral objectivists believe that all of humanity's cultures have evolved these moral behaviors that benefit humanity's survival and progress. While it is true that humans have evolved to be cooperative, we have also evolved to be quite violent. Moral objectivists are burdened then with explaining how all of these human behaviors we see, not just the cooperative ones, domination, aggression, exploitation, etc., how all of these that are directly against the benefit of the species still exist in humanity today. Also, in order to be objective, something must be true without interference. The object has to exist independent of the subject's perception of it. So, if we all have these different interpretations of morality based on all of these different interpreters across human cultures, as seen by this wide range of behaviors, how can morality be objective? Thus enters moral relativism. A moral relativist believes that these moral maxims are true or false only relative to some particular perspective, and no standpoint is uniquely privileged over all others. Some say that if you further extrapolate this moral relativism to cognitive relativism, the idea that all truth is subjective, that's the logical endgame of this argument. And while I don't go this far, I did find this analogy about cultures having different sporting preferences. For example, someone in Brazil might like soccer, someone in Pakistan might prefer cricket, someone in Mongolia might be more passionate about horse racing. But you can't say that these differences are explained by the absence of a single objectively superior game or sport that all humans are disposed to play. This is a critique of the argument that this variation in morality across cultures can be explained by some fundamental morality within all humans. But then again, linguistics was revolutionized whenever Noam Chomsky came up with his theory of universal grammar, and this provided the missing link for all of the languages. If there was some moral code that I could find and point to, which is clearly the proto-morality for all developments of human morality, then I might begin to believe in this moral objectivism. I might begin to believe that there could be a law, such as you absolutely should never use violence. But as of yet, I have not found a compelling argument for why there is so much variation in morality across people and cultures. And if my friend and I, both rational people committed to understanding, could not agree on a framework for morality, then surely it could not be something that is objective from all perspectives. Anyways, that's it for now. Thanks for listening. This is something I will continue to think about, and I've got a lot of different directions I could go with this topic. I'll probably add another video, and I'm going to link the transcript version of this in the description for this video, because sometimes I'm watching a video and I wish that I could just read it instead of watch it. So I guess it's kind of messed up that I'm saying this at the end of the video, but oh well. Anyways, bye.